Next we are going to discuss about image formation, derivation of curved surfaces, children. For understanding the relation between refractive indices, object distance and image distance, radius of curvature, we have a formula. And also in the earlier concept we got ideas to draw ray diagrams for different cases. We have drawn ray diagrams for different cases, children, in the earlier class. From that we got information how to draw ray diagrams, and we got a doubt from that concepts. How can we draw ray diagrams and image formation, how can we understand? So for that we need this for children. Here I am drawing the diagram. Consider a curved surface, denser medium here, rarer here, and this is center of curvature we have, and pole we know. So here consider a curved surface separating two media of refractive indices. Here I am taking convex surface, children, convex surface. The refractive indices are n1 and n2. A point object is placed at point O here, and the ray which is passing through principal axis will not be deviate, that we have discussed in earlier class, and the ray which is passing from O to any other point by making an angle alpha, this is incident ray, and which is refracted like this, and which will be meet at I of the principal axis, point I on the principal axis. This is refracted ray, and these two rays are meeting at I, and the incident angle will be theta 1. Here this is the normal line, so the incident ray making an angle theta 1 with normal line, and the refracted ray making an angle with normal line theta 2 I am taking. So here the angle will be beta, and this is gamma I am taking. These are the angles, and here a perpendicular I am drawing, that one is D I am taking. So here this is point A, I am keeping like that. So this is the diagram we are considering, children, and the refractive index of medium 1 is n1 and refractive index of medium 2 is n2. This is rarer medium and this is denser medium I am considering. So I think you got these points. Let us see our derivation, children. We have drawn diagram now, and again I am using this for better understanding. That diagram is also very flexible, and we have on the back page the diagram, that's why I am taking here, children, don't confuse here. So here PC we have taken PC, the distance between pole and center of curvature is called as radius of curvature R, that we know, and n1 n2 are the refractive indices of both medias. So we can draw a derivative relation between these two refractive indices and also radius of curvature. Image distance also we know, pole to image distance that we know, and pole to object distance we know. And here we are taking this one as V and this one as U, image distance V and object distance U, so that we know image distance U, object distance V. So sign conventions afterwards we will see. So let us start our derivation now. So in the triangle ACO, see children, A here, C and O is the object. So I am considering this ACO triangle. From triangle ACO, so here we can write theta 1 is the exterior angle for this ACO triangle. So theta 1 is equals to alpha plus beta. Why I am taking alpha beta means here I am writing this from the property of triangles you have studied in 7th class maths. So exterior angle is equals to sum of interior angles, sum of two interior angles, opposite interior angles. Children, here we are taking the exterior angle here, so the two opposite interior angles sum will be equal to the exterior angle to third angle. So sum of two opposite interior angles. So that property I am using here. Since exterior angle is equals to sum of two interior angles. So like that I am taking from the figure. So from triangle ACO we will get theta 1 is equals to alpha plus beta. And in the triangle, and from triangle ACI, then I am considering this triangle, children, ACI, this triangle, and here also we can take the exterior angle beta to this triangle. From triangle ACI, beta is equals to, the two opposite interior angles to beta are theta 2 plus gamma. So we need theta 1 and theta 2, children, because here we need angle of refraction and angle of incidence we are considering. Theta 1 is the angle of incidence and theta 2 is the angle of refraction. That's why I want to draw these two. So theta 1, I am transposing theta 2 here. So theta 2 is equals to minus theta 2 is equals to gamma, and beta I am transposing this side, minus beta. So if we take minus common here, beta minus gamma, we will get minus will get cancelled. That means theta 2 is equals to beta minus gamma, here we will get. You got, children? I think you got. So here I am using this diagram, children. So you need to observe this diagram also. So we need diagram most probably, most important. Here also, since I wrote, since exterior angle is equals to sum of two interior angles. I think you got this point. So theta 1 and theta 2 we got, and substituting this theta 1 and theta 2 in Snell's law we need, because Snell's law is sine of angle of incidence and sine of angle of refraction ratio is Snell's law. So consider Snell's law. Consider Snell's law. So sine n1 sine theta 1 is equals to n2 sine theta 2. This is Snell's law, children. So substituting theta 1 we know and theta 2 we know in equation number 1, or else in above equation also you can, above Snell's law. So then we can substitute those two values. So diagram also we need, children, diagram also we need to consider here always. So here I am substituting theta 1 value we got. Theta 1 is equals to alpha plus beta. So here n1 sine alpha plus beta we got. Previous only we drawn that, don't confuse here. Previous we drawn theta 1 is equals to, here alpha plus beta we got. So this only I am substituting, don't get confused. And theta 2 is equals to beta minus gamma. These two only I am substituting. So beta minus gamma. So in the Snell's law I am substituting, children, don't get confused. Here we need a diagram, that's why I am keeping this. n1 sine alpha plus beta is equals to n2 sine theta 2 value beta minus gamma. Previous only we observed. So beta minus gamma is theta 2 value. So this, put this one as equation number 1. The rays move very close to the principal axis. For paraxial rays, for paraxial rays, the angles, paraxial rays means the rays which are nearer to the principal axis, children. Angles alpha, beta, gamma becomes very small. So for small angles, for small angles, sin theta is equals to theta, that we know, we have a rule. So that's why therefore sin alpha plus beta is equals to alpha plus beta, and sin beta minus gamma is equals to beta minus gamma. These we got from this rule. For small angles we are considering paraxial rays means the rays which are nearer to the principal axis, which are nearer to the principal axis. Shortcutly I am writing, children, don't get confused here. Principal axis I am writing. So for paraxial rays, sin theta is equals to theta. So that's why I am writing this. So therefore sin alpha plus beta is equals to alpha plus beta, and sin beta minus gamma is equals to beta minus gamma. So from these two values, substitute in equation number 1. From equation number 1, so here we need a diagram also. From equation number 1, from equation 1 we are writing n1. So sin theta is equals to alpha plus beta. Sin alpha plus beta I am substituting as alpha plus beta is equals to n2 into sin beta minus gamma. In the place of that I am writing beta minus gamma. Sin theta is equals to theta, implies n1 alpha plus n1 beta is equals to n2 beta minus n2 gamma. Just I am multiplying, don't get confused here. Since all angles are small, we can write, since all angles are small. So here we need to consider diagram once again. Tan alpha. Here from triangle, tan alpha I am taking here. Where is alpha, children? Here. Right angle triangle we need to consider. So from triangle OPA, which is right angled at P. So alpha, tan alpha is equals to, here tan alpha is equals to AN by NO. From the diagram, AN by NO. So is equals to, for small angles, sin theta is equals to theta, like that tan theta is equals to theta for small angles. From this rule I am writing, since small angles, for small angles tan theta is equals to theta. So that's why we will get. And from triangle, right angle triangle I am considering, children. From triangle, here where is beta? Here right angle triangle is ADC. ADC I am considering. So tan beta is equals to, here opposite side by adjacent side. What is opposite side, children? AN is the opposite side here, and adjacent side is NC. AN by NC. So like that we can get. So here AN by NC is equals to beta, because since tan theta is equals to theta for small angles. I think you are able to watch this video. This diagram also you need to know. So tan beta from triangle, from right angle triangle, here ANC, children, not D. You can also take D or N, anything you can take. If you take in the diagram D or N, that should be that only. And from triangle, so gamma, for gamma value, A, N, I. So from triangle A N I, tan gamma is equals to, yes, opposite side A N by adjacent side N I is equals to gamma. Similarly I am writing, children. So tan theta is equals to theta, that only we are writing here. So these three values, so here put this one as equation number 2. So from equation number 2, we can substitute all these values. N1 in the place of alpha, beta, gamma, we can write these values. In the N1, alpha means AN by NO. So this I am substituting, plus N1 beta means AN by NC I am writing, plus is equals to N2. In the place of beta I am writing AN by NC, and in the case of minus N2 into gamma, in the place of gamma I am writing AN by NI I am writing. So like that we will get equation number 3. So as the ray move very close to the principal axis, for paraxial rays, N coincides with P, that we know. N coincides with P. Here for paraxial rays, the rays which are nearer to the principal axis, this N will coincides with P. So that's why we will get, for paraxial rays, N coincides with P. So substitute, paraxial means the rays which are nearer to the principal axis. Substitute here P in the place of N in equation 3. So we will get N1 into AP by PO plus N1 into AP by PC is equals to N2 into AP by PC minus N2 into AP by PI. So here we can substitute all these values. PO means image distance, like that we will get. Here first we need to take common AP here. In all the cases we have AP. We can take AP as common. So if we take AP common, we will get AP. So N1 by PO plus N1 by PC is equals to, here also AP I am taking as common, N2 by PC minus N2 by PI will get, AP will get cancelled. So we can write N1 by PO means, here we know, first we need to consider sign conventions, children. Sign conventions. Here we need to take all distances are measured from the pole. All distances are measured from the pole are optic center. Pole means optic center here. Distance measured along the direction of incident light will be taken as positive. In the direction of incident light, in the reflection of light also we have studied this. In the direction of incident light, all the values will be positive. In the opposite direction, those will be negative. And the heights measured vertically above the points of axis are taken as positive and below the points are negative. Like that here I am substituting here from the figure N1 by PO means here object distance. This is negative. PO means object distance negative. Why? Because it which is opposite to the incident ray. The incident rays are in this direction. So right hand side those are moving. But we are considering object we are taking as left hand side to the incident rays. That's why I am taking minus U plus N1 by PC, center of curvature to pole. optic center, we have radius of curvature here is equals to N2 by PC, radius of curvature. So this is in the direction of incident ray only, that's why I am taking as positive, and N2 by Pi, image distance we will take as positive because it is in the direction of incident ray. So that's why I am taking here V as positive. So I am transposing this N2 minus N1, N2 by V to the left hand side, N1 by minus U. Here minus will become as plus while it comes to the left hand side, is equals to N2 by R, while I am transposing this N1 to right hand side, N1 by R. So here we can write, here R is the LCM, we can take N2 minus N1, here N2 by V plus minus N1 by U we can write. So N2 minus N1 by R. Here we are getting, see children, N2 by V minus N1 by U is equals to N2 minus N1 by R. This is the relation we got. So this is the relation we got first. And this formula can also be used for plane surfaces. For plane surfaces. So what will happen children, for plane surfaces 1 by R becomes 0. Why? Because in the case of plane surfaces, radius of curvature approaches infinity. So in case of plane surfaces, R approaches infinity. So that's why, so therefore N2 by V minus N1 by U is equals to R approaches infinity, means here infinity value means this will become as 0. So 1 by infinity. So we will get formula for plane surfaces. Here we got 1 by R becomes 0. Since R is infinity. 1 by infinity 0. So that's why N2 by V minus N1 by U is equals to 0 at that time. So this is the formula for curved surfaces. This is the relation between N1, N2 and R. So this is relation between N1, N2 and R. So I think you got idea on this children, don't get confused. And we have a diagram here. Here I am taking N. We have a diagram here, and also I drawn this also in the previous explanation. So by using this only I explained all this, don't get confused. And by using textbook diagram also we can draw, that is, and this and that both are same only. So thank you children for nice cooperation. We will discuss further tomorrow.